massive, massive.
Good evening and welcome to the West Ham Review. We're back after a little hiatus for the Christmas period. But as you can see, me and my co-host Budgie, we're looking forward to this one. And first of all, Budgie, Happy New Year and good to see you, matey.
Happy New Year to you, Tony. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're right. It's the first time we've got together this year, isn't it?
Yeah. First of many.
I'm doing all right, mate. Just woke up about half hour ago, so yeah, I made a little drowsy for the first 10 minutes, but we'll be good. We'll be good.
Good, mate. Good. Well, since we last spoke, there's been a few things going on, isn't there?
Certainly has, mate. Yeah, just cleaned my camera, by the way. None least of all the appointment of a new head coach, which is really quite exciting. As you know, Tony, I really didn't want Graham Potter. He was probably the lowest on the list for me. I would have gone for an unproven younger manager had one come about personally, but we've got him, and it's a new era at the club. There seems to be a lot of positivity around it, mate. So, you know, like I always do, like we always do as West Ham fans, I'll get behind him. I'll chant his name if there's a song, you know, in his honour, and I'll chant it with him at the stadium. You know, I'll go with it. I'll go along for the ride because, you know, to me, West Ham is West Ham. Doesn't matter who's in that chair. You know.
True. Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, as we said earlier, you know, in the background, I think what was good to see more of anything else was his first kind of talk about the club, why he's here, and what he's looking to achieve, isn't it? A lot of positives around it, wasn't there? I mean, he sounds quite confident. And I think the good thing about it more than anything else is when he turns around and said he was looking for a job that fits him.
Yeah, I mean, he's turned down a couple of, you know, decent jobs to come to West Ham. I suppose we should feel grateful for that because, you know, we know he's a good manager. We know that. Even like 10 minutes ago, I was having a quick look on Gonzo's live show, and even he said, you know, if players are looking to be improved by a coach, he's the man that can do it. You know, he's proven that with people like Glenn Murray, you know, Lewis Dunk and the likes. You know, He brought mediocre players into the Premier League and made them Premier League players. So, you know, I could be wrong. I hope I am. You know, I've said that I don't feel Potter's a Premier League manager. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because the guy, I like what I've seen so far, and you know, his eagerness to get into that role straight away, not sit in the stands and have a look at how the team are performing under an interim or something. You know, he wants to get stuck in straight away. And you know, I think the obvious thing in that press conference he did this morning was denying that it was through links to Karen Brady that he got offered the position. That was obvious. Maybe there was a bit more, or maybe even a lot more to it than that. But that obviously had some swing. You know, his wife and Karen Brady are good friends.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
You know, look, if he does the job, if he does what we want, what the club requires, I don't give a shit how he got the job. You know, he can shit out as many things as he wants. As long as he shit out in results for us, I don't care.
That's what you want to see at the end of the day. I mean, I'm going to catch up the chat, and then I'm going to carry on about Potter. Good afternoon, Lone Star. Hope you're well, mate, and I hope it's all right over where you are in Texas. It's good. And obviously, Budgie saying hello there. Big up the views on sport. Good to see you, mate. Evening. Good evening to yourself. Hope you're well. Big up to Matt as well. Tony, I'm in 4K, brother. just about afford that. Big up to Words and Pictures as well. Happy New Year, happy new manager. Yeah, which is we've been saying, and obviously on Sharky and that. He is obviously a new member. He's a YouTube member, as we mentioned yesterday, which is great to see.
Brilliant. Well done, Sharky. Good man.
What else is it? Catch up on a bit there. And obviously saying hi, lads, in there. Big up to Adama. Are we live? Good to see you both, lads. Smash that like. Thank you very much, Drew. Absolutely. And good evening to Jezebel. West Ham. He's brilliant. Brendan, good to see you, mate. Evening, Tony, Budgie, Sharky, and the chatters. And also evening to Daz, Steve and Budgie, and everyone in the chat.
Who's Steve?
He's coming on later. Early Potter Graham Dawes Football TV. Look at that one, Budge. Really quite exciting. Oh, yeah, Fudgy or whatever your name is. And yeah, we've got this one, haven't we? Deitch has now gone as well at Everton, and I suppose maybe is that another thing that kind of pushed it over the line? Because before I go on to that, let's go back onto Potter. What was also encouraging about his talks today was the fact that he's willing to look at the academy, the youth players. He recognises the importance of that.
That a couple of times during that session.
That was really encouraging to hear that, because that's something we've been calling out for a long while now. And if he can bring that, I mean, not being funny, Lopetegui mentioned it and did Jack with it, really. Yeah. So let's hopefully he can learn from that and let's see something going on from it.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite encouraging.
He's likely to get a tune out of players that we've got out on loan as well, you know, the likes of JWP, Freddie Potts, those kinds of lads, you know. I think he'll get a tune out of them. I'm not so sure about Maxwell Cornet. It looks like he's heading back this month.
Yeah.
But, you know, look, I've been a fan of his for a while, and, you know, I wanted him to succeed when he came to West Ham, and he hasn't. He's gone out on loan. That's failed miserably. We're going to get him back. We may have to use him at times, and maybe, just maybe, he'll do enough in training for Potter to want to use him. You know, so that's, you know, I know that's not much of a positive tone, but it is a positive that, you know, we have got a player that's very capable, as we've seen in the past from his exploits at Burnley, etc. You know, perhaps, you know, he might get a tune out of players like that as well. You know, the ones that are coming back from their loan.
The issue is, I mean, the key thing, I think, more than else, is also kind of getting these players back on track. Somerville get his head back on turned with us rather than looking a bit disinterested, which he has been in the last couple of games because obviously he's been benched for the majority of it. Yeah. Kudos. Now he's got the opportunity to shine under a different manager. Can we get his head turned back and show why we bought him in the first place? Can he bring that back?
We need that team player back out of him.
Yeah,
rather than this individual that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mourinho to Everton. It seems like our former manager, Mr. Moyes, could be making a sensational return back to Everton. So we'll watch this space because I think Mourinho and that, I don't think it'd be the fit anyway.
No, I think a lot of the names have been put out there by the media and by fans, etc. But I think the most likely scenario is David Moyes, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the Friedling group are not stupid. They know what he bought in the first place. Plus the fact they're going to be going in this new stadium. It's all working quite nice in their favour.
Yeah.
Lone Star saying, Potter is your man. Don't give up before you get started. No, I don't think we're going to give up on it. I mean, the main thing, as Budgie said, and I agree on it, and hopefully most people in the chat as well, it's the case of we've got to give this bloke a chance. You know, he's talking it nicely at the moment. He's now got to kind of show that. Hopefully he's had his first session with the players and had a sit down with them and given his vision. Who knows? Let's see where it goes from this point onwards.
I mean, look, he's been quite shrewd in that conference as well, Tony, because he made plenty of references to reconnecting the players and the fans, which is something we've often said. The connection seems to have been lost in transit somewhere.
Definitely.
And he's looking at reconnecting us and them, which is fantastic. We all want to hear that.
Yeah.
He said he'll do his best to get results, etc., which you can't ask for any more. But then, you kind of expect that kind of response. Having said it, the way he said, the way he brought his responses out, I felt was genuine, heartfelt, I think he truly believes that West Ham are a big club. I actually believe that he's excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, I agree on that because it's he's ticking the right boxes. That's the good thing, and that's what we want to see. Because, as you said, mate, we know the disconnection that's sitting at the club at the moment under Lopetegui, and thankfully now we can say we can put this to bed, and we can hopefully start to move on and see us moving and progressing nicely under this manager or head coach, shall I say, as they call him. Good evening, James Bond. Good evening, lords, ladies, and gentlemen. Of course, Lone Star saying we've got Super Mikel. Oh man, and also good evening to Colin. Good evening, Tony, Budgie, you wonderful gentlemen. Good evening to yourself, mate. Hope you're okay, Colin. Hope you're well, mate. Cornet, better off with a trumpet.
You're probably right, Lone Star.
I want to know what he's going to do regarding Falkirk. Well, if you believe the rumours, it seemed like two clubs are showing a bit of interest in the Falkirk.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, now, Graham Potter is the kind of manager that will get a tune out of Falkirk. I think he'll play to Falkirk's strengths because he knows the kind of player he is. He's not daft. He's watched him, know.
Yeah.
And I think he knows the kind of player he is. And I think, I would be very surprised if Graham Potter hasn't done a bit of research on some of these, YouTube channels, to find out how the real fans really think, So I wouldn't be surprised if he's done some research on YouTube and that. And, he knows that, we're disenchanted with the way our strikers are being used, how they're being misused, I should say, to be fair. And I think Graham Potter may just remedy that, you know.
Yeah.
Not because of us, but because, you know, he knows that he knows what it takes to win football games.
Mm. I think what would have been quite interesting to see is because you think we had the he's only going to come in interim. He's only going to be there 6 months just to get it over the line.
Mm.
And then, of course, it started coming out that he's now going to get a 2.5-year contract. But the worst part about it, kind of, and it's typical of us. We did it before. We did it with Moyes before he went. Is how the club handled this whole business of Lopetegui and bringing in Potter and all the other bits around it. The fact that, and I think that's the best way to sum it up, Budgie. Yeah, it was literally disgraceful because it doesn't matter what manager it is, what person it is. We did it with Moyes before we brought Lopetegui in. Yeah. We let the world know that this is the man we're interested in, but it's a case, hold on, we've still got a bloke in charge of the team at the moment.
Yeah.
But what we did with that, and the way it was handled.
Who let Lopetegui take 2 training sessions during the week, knowing that, you know, Harry Potter's in the building, you know.
Look at this one here. I'll just interrupt you on this one. Will Potter be in Gryffindor or Slytherin?
I think he's in Gryffindor. I think it's I think it's the ownership, you know, the board Slytherin. They're the snake.
Yeah. Evening fresh, not too early, not too late. Evening all, yeah.
Good evening, Sean.
But what you just said there, yeah, the fact that we let him literally do 2 sessions and then.
Well, yeah, but the thing was, it was kind of. I don't know exactly how, you know, he's firing when, but, you know, there were rumours that Karen Brady was at London Stadium with Potter doing the negotiations, getting the paperwork signed, and then was taking a trip to the training ground this morning or yesterday. No, it was this morning, wasn't it? To go and sack Lopetegui. You know, and she'd done both jobs apparently. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Wouldn't surprise me at all with that woman.
It wouldn't, no. But I was kind of glad that it was Brady that was doing the negotiating with our potential manager, who happens to now be our manager. I'm glad it was Brady that did that because I actually don't know of a better negotiator in this country for any kind of business.
That's true. Yeah,
on top of her game, you know. She might not be very palatable as a person and, you know, she might tell a few porcupines and whatever, but, you know, in reality, she is a fantastic negotiator. And, you know.
She's got it done.
She got what she wanted, he got what he wanted, and I think we got what we wanted.
Yeah, I agree on that. I do agree on that. Just want to say a big up to Jason Carter. Big up, Ellie does. Hope you will, mate. Potter in. Hopefully, does well for West Ham. Big up to yourself, Jason. Yeah, I think he will do. I think we're all alluding to that's going to be the case. I think it's. I think it's going to be a good fit. Big up to Ross as well. Big up, gentlemen. And evening to old man. Oi, oi, Savaloy. I'm gorgeous, and I know it. He does indeed. Budgie, pass it over here. He's what you're smoking.
Yeah, well.
Medicinal.
It is.
Evening, Rob. I hope you will, mate. Graham Potter's Clayton Boo Army. His forte is making good players better. Couldn't handle the world-class players at Chelsea, but he won't have that worry with us. That's true.
Well, you know, there's a lot of truth in that, Rob. But to be fair, I think we've got some world-class players in our club, you know, maybe just a small handful, but we do have, you know, I mean, we can't deny that Paqueta's world-class. We can't deny that Bowen's world-class. We can't deny that Caduce's world-class. And it's showing, I think it's actually showing that Kilman's becoming world-class too. Yes, he has been, you know, made a few errors and whatnot, but I think, you know, he's still a young lad, 23, 24 years old. I think Kilman. I think there's a world class player in there, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
hopefully, as we said, I think Potter's the one that's going to bring it out of him. I think most of the players probably have been disenchanted with over the last couple of games because of the way it's gone. Good evening to Mama Flossie, evening Tont and Budgie.
Good evening, beautiful.
Fresh to say, Budgie take her on a proper bifter.
It has been prescribed to me, so
exactly, yeah. So James is saying, James Bong, it's an obvious appointment, really. We had a clean bill of health under the Moisaya, but then we took a lopsided downturn, so got in the GP. Absolutely, and that's the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
And Rob was obviously saying, evening, Tony and Budge.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Good evening.
Damien's saying that I'm kind of happy with an English manager. I'm not going to lie, but as long as it doesn't restrict recruitment. Well, that's a good point we can follow on from. What do you make of this Steidham business and Sullivan and, well, the possibility of Dan Ashworth?
Look, I'm not averse to Dan Ashworth in any way, shape or form. I think he's a wonderful director of football, knows his job very well. As far as British people are concerned, British directors of football are concerned, he's probably one of the best there is. And yeah, I would really like to see him come to the club. Having said that, I still haven't lost all my faith in Steidham. You know, he's been, look, you can't swim when your hands are tied behind your back. All you can do is bob about and look good, you know, or try to look good. And his hands have been well and truly handcuffed, you know, by the board since he got here. We know that. You know, it transpires that out of the 9 players that we selected to bring in the summer, 3 of them were down to him, 3 were down to Lopetegui, and 3 were down to Sullivan. Or that's what we're told. That's what we're led to believe. You can't run a director of football under those circumstances. It's like having a bloody milkman and not giving him milk to take out to his customers. You know, it's ridiculous. You don't do that. You know, if you're going to have a director of football, Sullivan needs to be sitting on his arse, letting the man do his job. You know, concentrate on your other businesses, mate. Because, you know, while we've got somebody in that position, we should be, you know, giving them the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we all want everyone that's kind of associated with the recruitment and obviously, you know, the head coach coming in to do well for the club. And that's all we're looking for. Damien said, I think with English managers, it's easier to process and gauge what the feeling is. Maybe does take the time to see what the fans are saying. I would if I joined the club. I think he has done his research on it, like you're saying, not just obviously with the YouTube thing, but I think he's took the time to look at West Ham and what it's all about. Let's bring this man in as well. So I'd like to hear his opinion on this one. Good evening, James.
Good evening. How are we?
James?
Oh, good, mate. Oh, good.
Another day in West Ham paradise, isn't it, Jeff?
Is the light changed for you, mate? That's the question.
You know what? You got to give him a chance. First thing, do you know what I mean? In life, you've got to give anyone a chance, whether it's a new job or new bird. You've always got to give them a chance, don't you? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel that the time was right to let Lopetegui go. I think he should have been gone sooner. I think what they've done, I think this week's been a bit embarrassing for West Ham United rather than Lopetegui or Potter or anything else. As a club, overall, I think we've sort of mugged ourselves off a little bit. Not us as fans, but the ownership of the club taking the piss to a point out of the ex-manager. Potter's a good manager. Like he'll get the best out of some of these players, and we really don't know. We really don't know how good this geezer is going to be for us, right? And that's the mystery at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to give him a go, mate. I'm going to give him a chance. I think this season's a dead season to a point. I think he's going to have to assess all the players who he's got in the first team, the ones he wants, the ones he don't want, and this January window's massive also. I think we can still finish top 10. I think it's there. I think we're only 5 points behind, and if we go and get 2 back-to-back wins against Fulham and Palace, everyone's looking a bit different. Do you know what I'm saying? And But we'll just have to see. If we treat this season like a progressive season, i.e. transitional season, we can look at next season and then move forward from there, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the former word because I know you used that transitional word before there, so I'll go with that progression. I think that's is more where we need to be now. I think because the mess that was left in the first place. I mean, you've got to come in. He's got to come in and sweep up all the shite first of all, and try and make it look rosy, which is going to be a bit of an hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just feel the way this week's gone as a club. Take the fans out of it. As a club as a whole, I think it's been embarrassing. Like the way the man was strung along, we all believed he was going. I spoke to people who I knew in the trading world, said he was gone. Then he was like, is he going? Is he not going? Like, and then he's taking training, and then is he there for another day? And I think the ownership of this club needs to be severely looked at. I've been saying it for years. I've been saying it on E20 for years. Anyone who follows me on E20 knows how passionate I am about it, because I've always said they are the problem at the end of the day. Potter, is he going to get backed in this window? Let's hope so. I think that's a major thing. Let's hope he does get backed. I assume he's going to get backed, because otherwise I don't think he would have turned up if there was no money available. So, but the ownership of this club really needs to piss off as soon as, if I'm being real. And I'm going to be polite about it, but they do really need to go, because I don't. So the way that they have carried on this week in regards of trying to sack a manager and then bring a new manager in, the leaking of a photograph that went all around X, it just makes us look bad as a club, and it ain't us. It ain't us. It's them, and that's where the line is for me. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, agree. Duran, is he suspended for tomorrow's night's game?
Yeah, 100%.
Happy days. That's like the way that. Would Potter get a tune out of a good?
He probably would, because Potter is quite a defensive-minded guy. Although he does tend to have fairly strong defences in his teams. Chelsea's a different story. I mean, I'm not even going to judge him on his job at Chelsea, because basically he was thrown into the deep end and they were just dropping players on him out of the sky. So he had no chance to have any cohesion or anything. At least there's already a small amount of cohesion within our squad. They all know each other. They're familiar with each other's style of play, etc. So all he's got to do now is basically guide that, and coach that, which is a lot easier than running around trying to introduce yourself to new players and that while you're in the middle of a training session and things like that. So I think Graham Potter's job at West Ham is going to be slightly less intimidating for him. And I think he'll cope with it. I do. And like I said, I'm really not a great big Potter fan, but I am beginning to have some investment in him, because I like what he's done already, the way he started his job. I like the way he's done that. I mean, aside from the embarrassing debacle, as you said, James, that the club board have been part of this week. Apart from that, I think the way Potter's wanted to go straight into his first, briefing and everything else, and go straight to the training ground and then be on the sidelines against Villa tomorrow night, that shows his intent. And, that's, to me, is far more important than I will sit up there for a couple of games and see how it goes. No.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, Jason Carter said that Potter's an experienced manager and isn't learning on the job like Mikel is. I mean, obviously, round footballs and square holes and all that kind of stuff, because that's a different story. That's another thing for another day. Evening to ENR, not my choice, but let's get on with it and get behind him. Clean slate. And if we can see some signs of improvement in the second half of the season, then at least we will progress. And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? All we want to see is identity come back to us, because it has definitely been
and that's something
disjointed.
He stressed as well in his interview this morning about us being able to identify with the players and the style of football. I like that. I like the fact that he's identified what we're not happy with, you know, and hopefully he'll be able to address it. Look, I really wish the best for him, obviously, because he's West Ham's manager or coach. But, you know, like I said, it was never my first choice. But I'm behind him 100%.
Evening, Frog. I mean, like, you know, Lawrence, I was just saying there, massive job for Potter. His task is simple: stay up.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Yeah.
I think, you know, I don't know about you, James, because me and Budgie were talking about it earlier. What was encouraging about his talk this morning is the fact of how he mentioned about the academy of the youth.
Yeah.
He wants to look at them as well, kind of thing. He's not dismissing anything. He's really looking at the whole top to bottom of the, you know, the football element of the club, which is great to hear more than anything else.
Yeah.
He's got a plan.
Yeah.
It ain't that hard, is
it? Sunday up in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Not only that, being English, he will already be aware of the reverence that we hold our academy in. You know, we've always believed that our academy was one of the best in the world, which it was at one time. Maybe not so much now.
I just feel with him, he's coming into a job where I know people are saying it ain't their first choice, but Lopetegui weren't the first choice. This is what we've got, right? And this is what we're going to have to deal with. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's a bad appointment. I think if everyone would have turned around and said in the summer that Moyes was leaving and he was going to get Grandpa, I think everyone would have been happy with that. So to get him 6 months later, I think we're just going to have to accept it and say, right, it is what it is. We know what we are, and we know what we're going to be. The issue is with him is the style of the play side of things, because he plays a similar way, not exactly like Moyes, but he's defensive-minded, but with a possession-based game, whereas Moyes is defensive-minded and a counter-attacking game. So it's a bit more different, but nevertheless, I think we just got to embrace this geezer and realise that what we had with Lopetegui, we was only going one place, and that's backwards. I'm going to say about the ball in regards of making the sacking, because it had to be made, because I think if you go any further back this season, you could set us back 2, 3, 4, even 5 years. Because, like, do you know what I mean? Time we get rid of all our players again, we have done a rebuild, right? And there'd be teams like Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford could even come up and go overtake us, and then that's where the problem lies for that. Yeah. So, you know, you just got to get on board with it at the end of the day, and I think you've just got to get back to enjoying West Ham again. That's the most important thing, is enjoying watching your club play.
Well, I've enjoyed the day more than any other day this year.
yeah. That's just the interview,
start, isn't it? You know, Everton have gone 1-0 up, by the way, guys.
That's true. Just got an Ian R's comment here, and I think we've alluded to this already. It's been an absolute circus as usual. Highly embarrassing for us. The ownership is a stain on our great club. The treatment of Lobby on a human level has been a disgrace. And
completely agree.
You know, I think most West Ham channels that's been on YouTube over the last couple of days have definitely commented on how it was handled.
I put a video out late last night. I got home. I went up to London, and I was actually in Canary Wharf yesterday, and I was going to nip down to Stratford to see if I could see Potter, but me and Lucas was too busy having a few beers. So when I come home, I've done a video, and I agree. The state of the attitude of the club towards the manager, who was taking the training section, and they would try. In one way, I'm going to be honest, they tried to make him resign. That's what Sullivan was trying to do. He was trying to push him so hard that you go, you know what, I'm going to resign. And I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad he stayed there until the end and going, no, you're going to pay me, mate. Like, listen, Lopetegui on the football field, poor shit. Well, I'm going to be honest, it was crap, really. Yeah, but on a human level, if you just lost a parent and you are grieving, and then you're being taken the piss out of by the ownership of this club. And the thing is, the ownership doesn't represent us as fans. It really doesn't, like, because he operates in a way that real Cockneys and real West Ham fans wouldn't act. Whether you're from East London or you're not, if you're associated with West Ham, you know it's a community-based tight unit, and you just don't do things like what's happening over the last 72 hours.
Agree on that.
If I'm honest.
Yeah. And even Potter acknowledged the fact that the club is like a family club, you know. He said that this morning. So, Yeah, Everett gone 1-0 up, and they've got Leighton Baines on the sidelines.
Yeah, Leighton Baines and Coleman are running the team at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Till Moyes turns up. Brendan saying nice to see Oggy playing tonight as well.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Lone Star saying Potter has to fix the back line as West Ham concede an average of 2 goals a game in the EPL. It's true. Yeah, that's going to be a task in itself. We don't want to play like City, Liverpool, even Real Madrid. We want something expansive, but also with a defensive solidarity. I think that's what we're going to see anyway, at least.
Yeah.
Just want a team to be proud of, to a point.
I think that's the key thing, James. Isn't it? You know, see some identity in that, and feel like the boys give it a go.
Yeah.
Rather than what we've seen the last couple of games, where it's like, yeah, that's half-hearted. Yeah, he's given up.
See, the thing is, right,
even Terence,
football fans are not dumb. They can see between the lines to a point, right? When it comes to knowing what you want and what you're seeing, if we're seeing a high line with no pace, we all know that ain't going to work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and you've got to. If we can see it's wrong, they should see it's wrong. And if one person's saying it, okay, fair enough. But if, just for argument's sake, every fan channel saying the same thing, we're not all thick. Do you know what I mean? And we're not all missing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? And it goes down the road to a point. And I just think this week, I think obviously as time goes on, and things sort of get back to sort of normality, we can all sort of progress and move forward as a club and as a fan base. I think one thing I will say is that I think the fan base has gone full circle now, if I'm being honest. I think when it was Moyes in, Moyes out this time last year, we had a lot of issues, very toxic. Do you know what I mean? Backwards and forwards. Like if you back Moyes, you was a wrong un. If you didn't back him, you was a wrong un. It was just backwards and forwards. And I think with Lopetegui situation, I think people have opened their eyes and thought, right, this is what's happening right now. Yeah. And now we've got Potter. And basically, it's gone back to factory settings. I said that last night in a video, and we've started again, though, haven't we? Let's be honest.
True. I mean, just going back to Damien's one there, as he says here, even at the beginning, Lopetegui looked tense, not natural. I think Potter would be much better. I think it's a natural fit. And this is interesting because I've seen quite a few comments with the same kind of prediction of a scoreline. You know, very optimistic that we will get a result, predicting a 3-1. And I'm hoping to see more young players getting involved and hopefully seeing Somerville and Guilherme. I think that's the key thing, isn't it? Seeing some of these players. Well, Guilherme, you never know. Potter might get something out of this kid because we haven't seen it so far.
Potter might see something that Lopetegui hasn't seen, and that David Moyes. Well, I don't know. Did he come in? Yeah, he came in.
He came in after Moyes.
Just after Moyes, yeah. After Moyes has gone there.
I mean,
that's when...
look, you know, we haven't even seen his name on an under-21s team.
He just sat on the bench. That's what he's done, Budge. He just sat on the bench all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
look, we had reports that he was struggling with the language and that he was having English lessons and stuff, but that doesn't stop a man from kicking a football.
If you're naturally gifted, you're naturally gifted, isn't it? Simple as that. Yeah. Luke saying, great to see Budge still alive. Hey, Bellas, that we're well, boy. All good. K9, JBK9 saying, West Ham are a family. Watford and Spurs swap managers all the time. We're not them. We are loyal. Let's get behind Harry and his wand. Come on, and words and pictures, same thing. Hoping with Potter in charge, West Ham are more exciting and interesting on the pitch rather than off it. Yeah, I think it is this.
Just need an identity. It's just
that's the key thing, isn't it? I think that's the key word out of all of it. Identity. Something that the fans can recognise and basically relate to. I think that's the key one, isn't it?
I think Potter's a safe option and all to a point because he knows the Prem. He's managed at Chelsea. He's managed at Brighton. He knows. He's had opportunities to go to other clubs and he's blew it out. So he must see something with West Ham. Another thing that no one's really mentioned, this geezer looks like he's up for it and all. He looks like he's right up for it. Even in his interview today, he looks like a man who is hungry to be back and wants to prove people wrong. Now, I see something from Sean, Mr. West Ham Football. And for me, some people are like, oh, he's
I'm
going to
happy
be
with that,
here,
son.
and he's
I
waiting. He's waiting for a better job. I don't think he's waiting for a better job, mate. I think he's come here to like make West Ham his better job. And I feel he's the right man for now. Yeah, personally, I'd like to see Carrick come here, and I think that's the guy. But I suppose in 2.5 years' time, Carrick's going to be more developed if he comes up with Borough, and he has a season in the Premier League. You can sort of assess him then. And in 2.5 years' time, if Potter gets us to a standard where we're all happy, you either sign him on for another few more years, or you get rid of him, and then you do go after Carrick in the end. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get on that. I agree on that. Good evening, Howard. Because I think when you look at that side of things, I was saying earlier, if he was brought in originally to be like an interim manager, it seems like he's obviously set his stall out with Sullivan, said like, if you want me in, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there's been some kind of compromise because I think he's got to hit certain targets, hasn't he, to trigger certain things in the 2.5 year deal. So I think it's good if he's managed to kind of get this poison dwarf to agree to certain things. Then this bloke can walk on water, as far as I'm concerned.
But do you honestly believe, though, Tone, they planned on sacking Lopetegui on Monday morning? Because I honestly don't believe it, if I'm being honest. Like, the game's on Saturday, for instance. We lose the game 4-1, right? And we now know that basically the game is dead to a point. For me, I look at this and I go, well, hold on a minute, right? Why don't you sack him on Saturday night? If that is the case and he's not your guy, why has it took you to the Wednesday to sack the man? I honestly think that on Monday, it come out a little leak or a little rumour come out about him getting the sack. Then that photo's appeared from nowhere. And then I just think it's built up to the Wednesday, if I'm being honest. I don't know about you.
Yeah, there's something a bit more to it, isn't there? I mean, like, this picture suddenly popping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I do believe it was the Hilton or Armada that's at Waltham Abbey that they were supposed to have met at. But yeah, I mean, if it was Monday, I mean, like TalkSport apparently said, broke the news, it's done. He's gone. They've announced it, kind of made themselves look a little bit stupid. They're now bigging themselves up like we told you so. And fun enough, I was listening on the radio, Andy Goldstein for the drive time, and that he said there's another Premier League manager that's going to be tonked. He goes, we're not going to say who it is. I thought yourself now because you already made yourself look a mug already. You're not going to do it twice.
Agree.
But yeah, I think they were hoping to get something over the line. And either Potter, this is where I think Potter's obviously dug his heels in and said, if you want me, this is my terms. And that's what they probably stuck with Loppy for a couple of more days. And put that bloke through to do 2 training sessions, and at the end of it, and saying, like, here's your envelope. Thank you very much. Here's your P45. It's 3.3. Ta-da.
Yeah. Just wrong, isn't it? Just wrong.
All level, James. All
and
levels.
People say about the money, sometimes you've got to look at someone's, like, the humanity. Sometimes you've got to go, you know what, stand back and go, listen, the geezer just lost his old man. He's probably grieving. He's probably grieving on the quiet to a point because, listen, I've never had the sort of loss of losing a parent, but I've lost loved ones, and that's hard. And to lose a parent, it's probably 10 times worse. So to go and lose a parent in a short space of time and then being took the piss out of, really, to a point, by our owner, it just shows you what they're all about. And it just embarrasses us as a fan base. Yeah. The problem is now everyone's going to relax on the ownership because Lopetegui's gone, and that's where it goes. It's like a big circle. They get a pass now for about the next 5-6 months, and then basically come the January, the summer, we will see if they're serious again. So it's just one of them.
Yeah, true. I mean, JB saying here, Potter managing Sweden, plus lower leagues of the UK, plus the Championship. Got Chelsea last 8 of Champions League. He's also got a master's degree in leadership. We need leaders.
Valid.
Well, I mean, we do. Although we have got some leaders in the club, not many, and not of the calibre of like Mark Noble. And incidentally, it was nice to hear Graham Potter making reference to Martin Oval this morning. But I think that, with the likes of Kilman, I think Sadibo, he's quite a strong character. We know that Fabianski can be, Areola can be. Thomas Socek, definitely a strong character. Bowen's got the armband, so he's got free rein to more or less say and do what he wants, to be fair, I mean, and like I said last night, I think it was, I've looked at Bowen's appointment as captain earlier. Before I looked at that as, kind of like a cowardly choice, but it isn't. I've now begun to realise that, when the captaincy's given to a player, it's not you're going to be the captain, here's the armband. It's, do you want to represent the club as captain? And he's chosen to represent the club as captain. He's committed his career here. You know what I mean? So I think that, in that shows there is some leadership in him, and also a commitment to the club, obviously.
I think with Bowen as captain, see, I've heard that, funny enough, today. Someone said that to me today about, what do you reckon on Bowen being captain under Potter's reign, sort of thing. It's a tricky one, but the problem is with it is that he is captain now. And how does it look if you take the captaincy away from the man? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think he's a bad captain, Bowen, but I think he's learning on the job. It's like anything.
Agree on that, yeah.
It's the first time, and let's be honest, if he can get through that era with Lopetegui, with the amount of grief that we've got on there, I think if we can get him surrounded by players who are on the same wavelength, then we've got half a chance of him being a good captain. And I think for me, there's not many leaders in our side. Right, that's one thing that we lack. We lack a lot of vocal people in the side, and I think when the going gets tough, a lot of the foreign-based players, they go missing, and Bowen don't really go missing. Like, people criticise him and say, "Oh, he ain't the same player as he was," because when you're surrounded by shit, you're gonna become shit, ain't you? Let's be real. Like, and it's as simple as that. It's like with any workforce, if you've got one good employee who's mustard and he's surrounded by all the people who just ain't all that and don't want to be there to a point, it's going to bring the morale down in the camp. So it's I think he's all right, Bowen, but I think in the summer I'll just hope West Ham are going to go again. Do you know what I'm saying?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, obviously, I've just left this one up here. Old man saying, and do you think there's any relevance in this? They got wind of Everton sacking Deitch, and of course Potter was teed up for there as well. Do you think we've kind of jumped the gun and got him in quicker than we should have done?
I think so. I think they had whispers of Deitch going in the middle of the week, beginning part of the week. Because if you look at the way, and we just discussed it when Budgie was away, when you look at the way the Monday, the Tuesday, and the Wednesday went, from he's gone on Monday and he's taking a training session on Tuesday, he's taking a training session on Wednesday, it's quite embarrassing, to go down that route. And I think West Ham might have heard wind that they were going after Potter, and basically they had to go, right, it's either Lopetegui for the rest of the season, or we sack him and we get Potter now, or we go out and try and get Potter now. Now, in one way, it might be a good thing from the board that they've actually acted for once at the right time. But the way they've acted, but the way they've acted, I think, it's been cruel to a point. And I think to show the man up, it's not right.
And like as you mentioned earlier, with the loss of his father and that, can you imagine the kind of like feeling that man's got at the moment? He must be feeling absolutely dog shit right now. I feel sorry for him. I'm not saying that I wanted him to stay at the club, because clearly I didn't.
Yeah.
But to treat a man like that, it's almost inhuman.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That's the word. That is the word. Yeah.
Like, you just don't do it. You just don't do that. And if the problem is if they would have went and sacked him straight away and Potter said no, then they're in limbo to a point, because they've got rid of Lopetegui, they haven't got the replacement, and then who'd they go for then? Because there ain't really many options there. Yeah. So what's done is done.
I like that.
Yeah, but I just think the human side of it, that's something Aaron doesn't understand, and he never will. Why he's at our club, really, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree on that. I mean, question from Howard, it says, has anyone seen GP around in the last couple of weeks? I have a theory. GP Graham Potter, I'm a genius. That's why he's not around anymore. He's our manager.
Shout out GP.
I think Sully will back Potter this window at least 3 in. Maybe recording JWP in that.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
yeah. I think JWP's a shoo-in, mate, for us with Potter.
Oh, there you go. GP was around. Nice. Howard Fuller's oh bollocks. There goes my theory. Good evening, Jez. Arsenal history and more. Evening, guys in the chat. Hope you will, Jez. Good show you did earlier. Colin saying Potter wants to prove a point, and also to people who doubt his ability as a coach, like you just said, James, and he is hungry to do so. And he see West Ham as a team to do it with. I mean, when you think about it, he's had 2 years off virtually, isn't he? So he is quite fresh in that respects.
Yeah.
Got a point to prove.
I think so, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, not being funny, and I still refer to it this day. When you look at Moyes when he went to Man United, and that, you know, he was literally thrown under the bus by Ferguson. I think we all know that.
Similarly to how Graham Potter was at Chelsea.
Yeah, and it was too big a jump for Graham Potter. I mean, say at least with Potter, he tried to do something there. Whereas with Moyes, getting rid of all your backroom staff at Man United, and that was the worst insult in in football history for Old Trafford, really, because that's all your information, that's all your relevance.
Yeah,
I just feel like the man's got a plan, and that's a start. Like for me, that tells me quite a lot. You can see what he's. And do you know what? The way he spoke on the interviews, you could feel what he was trying to say. I.e., like when he's speaking, he's saying about the youth, he's saying about the culture of the club. He's another man, though, Potter, that will call out the fan base. If the fan base are giving him grief, he will bite back. He done it with Brighton. And he bit back at them. And do you know what? I think we need someone like that in our ranks. Someone who's going to take no shit and literally give it back to the fan base if the fan base are giving it to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think like when people say, "Oh, he's not my first choice, but we're going to see how it goes" and all that. I think what we've got to learn as a fan base is that look what we've just had, and if we would have carried on with that, that would have set us back a long time. I think we're in a safe pair of hands for now, and I think only time will tell with him. He's got a big job tomorrow at Villa Park. If he goes there, and if West Ham, and nothing would surprise me, West Ham went there and won, especially after the week we've had. Like, you know what I mean? And
you can see it.
Go from there. But if he goes to Villa Park and wins, and if he can get 2 wins against Fulham and Palace, the season can be up and running. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, if it goes the other way and he loses the next 3, then it's a different talking point altogether. But it is what it is.
I mean, like Ian's saying here, I think we asked about this. Guys, do you think they will back him in this window? And what do you feel we need most in terms of position? For him, definitely need a centre forward and a dynamic CM, and possibly even a centre back and a goalkeeper.
Well, I heard saying today, I haven't mentioned it on E20, so it's an exclusive for your zone. All right.
Thank you.
Chilwell at Chelsea is being sort of mentioned a little bit towards West Ham. From someone that I spoke to earlier, and something to do with the fact that like he wants out of Chelsea, and we need a left-sided covering player for Emerson. Let's have it right. We've only got Emerson, and then if he goes down, then we're scrambling about. So Chilwell has been mentioned. I don't know what you guys think on that, but yeah, whether it happens this window or the summer, I think West Ham will be looking at him definitely.
Interesting.
Me,
Trent and his brother Richard. Sorry, Budge, I just want to say this. It's obviously Yet and his brother Richard. Evening, West Ham crew. Oh, you're not going to get past the 3rd round this season, because obviously they'd love to throw in the old Bristol City game. These two love throwing that at us.
Well, if we can avoid Bristol City and Liverpool, then I think we'll be all right. I was just. On your point there, James, I think we've got the rest of this season to make some improvements and stuff. And if Chilwell was to come in, I think that's like firefighting to me personally, because I don't think Chilwell's the player for West Ham. I think it's just getting someone in that plays in that position. Don't get me wrong, I rate Chilwell. He's a decent enough player, but I don't think West Ham would be his preferred destination. If I'm honest with you, and I think it would be almost like firefighting from the, from the board or from the coach.
The only my concern with Chilwell and that is the injuries.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is, yeah.
That's my concern.
His age, what is he now, 27, 28?
Well, what it is, he's London-based. That's the first thing. He's second favourite to join West Ham at the minute. Juventus are the favourites to get him, and the prices are a bit sort of on par with each other. For me, he's not a bad player to have. Like, if you're gonna, and he would have known Potter through Chelsea.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. I think we're going to get linked with a lot of players who Potter has worked with before. Another player that wouldn't surprise me, I know Arsenal fans are watching, but even Raheem. Like, it wouldn't surprise me with him. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me that a lot of West Ham will go after a lot of Chelsea players. But the only problem is we can only do 2 loans. So that's it.
Yeah.
Like, unless we let loans go, we can only do 2 domestic loans. And I don't think, if I got this right, you can loan from the same. Like, you can't loan 2 players from the same club. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's valid.
Yeah, I don't think you can, because obviously then there's a conflict or something. In the rules
so
like
obviously,
but why would you want to? Because when you play that club, you can't use them.
Yeah.
There's 2 players there, isn't it? I mean, I like Luke's comment here. Let's be honest, Potter has a job on his hands. Dreadful defence, and underperforming midfield, and Dad's army up front.
But I see someone there saying about Rashford. That's another one. That's
another one that's banded in. Yep.
Yeah.
But
how
are we going to pay £325,000 a week?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Danny Ings. Drop him off at Southampton for free. That's what I'll say.
Lone Star saying here, Potter has 18 games to keep West Ham up, get more robust, stronger, better organised structurally and defensively, and start scoring goals. Identity and West Ham will develop away over time. That's a good shout, actually.
Yeah. And, people question, what is the West Ham way? I'll tell you what the West Ham way is. Happy bunch of fans, decent football, and results. Yeah. That's the West Ham way.
I think I agree with all that. I think integrating the youth is a major thing with this club. So I think we've all done it over the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah,
we've seen players come through the youth and go on and do things. I do think, though, that our attitude has got to slightly change from Upton Park era to LS era. Like, I do think that. I think when you're at the LS, you've got to be aiming higher than just accepting the basics. That's the basic West Ham way for me. But I want to see West Ham top 10 every year. Like, I don't think that's being unreasonable. I don't think West Ham should not be in the situation that they're currently in right now and 14th in the league. It's just not our club, and it's not right now. If it was at Upton Park and it was the West Ham way and all that game, I will get it. 100%. I'm saying fair enough. It is what it is. But the moment, as I say, the moment you move and you try and better yourself, we're paying a lot of money for transfers. We've got 65,000 each week in, week out at the LS, whether they're West Ham fans or not. And you should be aiming for a bare minimum top 10 at this club.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Gives a bit of excitement. I mean, just going on this comment here, JB saying, guys, generally this is the best West Ham show online. Watch them all for a long time, and you are very balanced and not shouting over each other. Keep you going, E20 and early doors, first class. Thank you very much for that, JB. Appreciate
JB, I'll pay you later, son.
Yes, going to say checks in the price.
Check is in the post. The post, exactly.
I'm going to say, Moores at Everton, can we send them down? Oh, you never know, mate. Yeah, I saw that, Howard. Yeah, Cardiff have done Sheffield United, so that's virtually the bottom of the table team to the second place team. Yeah, brilliant. Damien saying, I think the players will respond well to him because of how bad Lot was. It's once that honeymoon period passes where he needs to make sure he's on top of things. And I think if he's got that energy, like James has said, I don't think it's going to diminish anytime soon. So hopefully we're going to see a nice, even kill.
I think the first international break, if he can get to the first international break, which I believe is in March, if we can get there and we're in a nice sort of comfortable position, I don't think West Ham are going down. I think West Ham will have enough firepower to get out of there, and I think West Ham are in a situation where I think they've done enough to get out of there because the teams below them are just not consistent enough. Yeah. So if we can get to that sort of March, then great.
Because I want to add on to that one you said there regarding the lower teams. Because do you think, and it's just one I'm going to put out there, do you think the board got a little bit worried because obviously they've started to see a little bit of fight going on down at Ipswich, and they've got they're starting to kind of put a bit of fight on at the moment. Do you think they were also worried about that? If we're not too careful, teams down the bottom get a couple of results, because we know how tight this table is at the moment. You can suddenly see a swap around.
I believe so. I believe I've always said this, and I've stated it all year, right, since the start of the season. I think Ipswich will stay up. I think Ipswich are a side with a manager which will get the best out of them players. Now they've just signed another lad. They're signing players that they know if they go down, they're going to come straight back. And if they stay up, right, these are players that are going to develop. Obviously, Everton getting rid of Deitch, they're worried. So they're going, and if it is Moyes, they've got someone there who knows the club, another person, another safe pair of hands. Yeah. So that's two. And even Leicester have got rid of their ex-manager, brought in Van Nistelrooy. I don't think Leicester have won a game since they beat us, if I remember rightly. And so that is not right. They beat us and they haven't won a game since, if memory serves me right. So,
I think you're right there, because it's quite interesting. Because if you look at the opposite side, and that we beat Newcastle, and since then,
they've gone on a run unbeaten. Yeah, so it's I don't think they was looking at that, but I just feel that I think Wolves have changed their manager, and also near enough all the bottom lot have changed the manager, other than Ipswich, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they're stuck with him, haven't they? And obviously, I mean, going down to I said it last night. When you look at Luton, they've parted ways with their manager now, finally. Which was a shame because, he did well with what he had. But I like this comment from Howard, though. The training video, they were laughing, music, totally different vibe. It's excited. Great stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that after we finish, Tone, because I've been waiting for that all bloody day, to be honest, and now I don't stop. Missed it.
David said, here, take Chilwell. We need 2 capable left backs. Yeah, get that.
Yeah.
My only fucking team. Where's Lurbert? You lot getting the rash? Not in them wages. Unless he takes a drastic pay cut. Lone Star saying, Chilwell, good Lord, no. Lad couldn't cross a check. That's a good shout. Yeah, I prefer to see him bring back Skulls through.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Here, take Chilwell. Terence saying he's got a point to prove. Colin saying we've also heard we're very interested in Conrad Harder for striker position.
Don't know who that is, but
I have to look at that one. Usual, Aston Villa 4-6, West Ham 16-5, the draw 3-1.
Double chance for me. Double chance West Ham. It would surprise me. Nothing surprised me with this club, especially with the week we've had
with this season. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we all know that when we least expect them to do well, they always do it. So I think also tomorrow night there has to be an element of don't get hammered. If we do lose the game, we can't be going and getting hammered 4s and 5s on that, because then that might be a slight kick in the bollocks to a point. Do you know what I mean?
I agree on that, but also would you look at on the flip side of that? That would also prove a point that the players we've got at the back are basically not good enough, and that would kind of prompt Sullivan to open the checkbook against some people.
It would do that. But how many do you get rid of those time?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, that's the problem. I mean, Tadibo, okay, there's something there. Mavropanos, I think if anything, he'll probably be the one.
Yeah,
to part ways with Mavropanos. Unfortunately, he's done okay, but it's not enough. I think he's the one that you're at, but anything else. But Jason Carter's asking here, would you take Tierney at West Ham?
Yes.
Another one who's injury prone, but he's a good player. Also, he can play in a back three and all.
He can
That's
do,
exactly
yeah.
why I would take him, James.
Yeah.
I think we've got to look at it like this. Unfortunately, if you play for Arsenal, then you're guaranteed to get injured.
Mm.
I don't know what they do, and there's some talks that their training ground. There's supposed to be some hard surface underneath, kind of thing, and that's what's causing the impact injuries.
All right. For me, I think Kieran Tierney would be an extension of Aaron Creswell. Like, it'd be like replacing like for like for me.
Mm.
I mean, when Creswell was younger and that, he was a decent player. Never a world beater, but then neither is Tierney.
No, it's true.
You know?
David said he'd take Rashford rather than Sterling. He offers something up front on the left wing. 2 positions we need cover on. Good shout.
Yeah.
I know it's old and boring link, but I'd love to see Jonathan David brought in.
He's the man.
Thing is, there's about 3 or 4 other clubs looking at him, though, isn't there?
Yeah, we were talking about Jonathan David during COVID.
Long time.
You know, we were though. I remember sitting and having conversations for hours on end through the night with Pete about Jonathan David.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like we've been linking ourselves with him since every year.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Ian got there in the end with
Dave.
Dave.
I was going to say.
David,
David,
and then David. Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean?
Old Bed's asking the question, how many points at the end of the season? What do you think?
How many left available? How many points are available?
How many games we played? 20, is it?
So it's about 18, apparently there's 18 games left, isn't there?
18 games left. So you got, was that 54 points, is it?
54
yeah.
Available,
if we can get
30 of them, I'd be happy.
Yeah. I would say anywhere between 25 and 35 in that bracket. If we get higher than 35, then great. But if we don't, you know what I mean, it's not going to be the be all and end all. 25 to 35 in that sort of ballpark.
Yeah. I think 30 would be, acceptable for me. And not a point less, really, to be fair.
This is another one. Damon's just kind of latte life. What do you think about this one as well? Do you think there's any meat to the bones on this one?
I would have him.
I don't know who he is.
He's a Middlesbrough striker. Apparently, he's been banging in a few goals for him.
I think he's.
And I should know that because I've been looking at flipping, the work that Carrick's been doing in Middlesbrough, so I should know who his best striker is, really, shouldn't I? Terrible.
I would have him. I'd have Hayden Hackney and all. I think he's a very good player, and he's a player that I highly rate. For me, I look at Latte Laf as a player that if you bring him in, he's a sort of player that's only going to get better in a better team. And the one thing with Potter is he did have a Mr. Jokeres, I think, at his club and all. Let him go. So look at him there.
Yeah, exactly. You know I mean? That's true. This is it. Yeah, because obviously, Ray James, the player Palace is after improves them. Ipswich just signed Filagini. Yes, we've just got a much needed centre back. I think we need to address some issues in January. Yeah, and Filagini, I think, who is it? The club he's come from before. They've another one they've benefited from some money as well out of the deal. So good luck to him.
Yeah.
Scholes doesn't look ready for me, I'll be honest. If we were a bit higher up the league, I'd be less concerned. But I do think Chilwell helps us. Don't like Aaron Wan-Bissaka keep having to change sides. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Don't be surprised, though. Yeah, this is my shout for the summer window. Don't be surprised if Kyle Walker-Peters ends up at West Ham. And they have both of them on either flank. So you got Walker-Peters on one side, Wan-Bissaka on the other side, and they both interchange because they both can play both flanks. So... That wouldn't be a bad shout. Free transfer, that would be, and with Southampton looking to go down, I think that's pretty likely, if I'm being honest.
That's not a bad shout because when he played against us, or when we played against them, he played out of his skin.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe you were saying there's a sale ticket on the back of the thing. Just grab hold of it, please. Frog saying Newcastle attitude, West Ham 2-1, Southampton attitude, West Ham 3-0. Yeah, typical us. Can't stay fit, period. Well, we'll see. Like I said, it could be the way Arsenal do things. Lone Star says, Tony, behave. Arsenal playing 4 competition, injuries inevitable. I do know that, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, it just seems strange that you've had some key players out at certain periods of the time.
Oh, it's Tony.
I'll tell you what it is. It's because of the football they use in the Carabao Cup. That's what it is. I mean, I tell you what. I come home the other night. Yeah. When was it? When did they play? Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tuesday. I'm just tracking the days. Yeah, they play Tuesday night. I come home from somewhere with the missus. Oh, I turned the TV on. They was 2-0 down. I was thinking, I wonder how Jezzy's doing, and all the boys are doing, because like they're probably gonna go bloody mental with that.
I mean, funny enough, he did a watch along with Mama Flossie and with Jez. Jez was off on one.
He was, wasn't he?
He was going.
For a little while.
Yeah,
he went in incognito for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's true. It was.
Yeah.
Matt saying, what about Mbembo from
Mbembo, yeah.
Mbembo, yeah. But I think I love him. I think he's a quality player. But I think the other guy, Wissa, is a better option for us. He's more of a, I suppose you would call it a false 9. He does the work of a 9 and a 10 when he's put up front. I actually like him. I think he's a decent option.
And that, what's the other one? Wissa. He's not a bad one at all.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Wissa, yeah. That'd be another one as well. Jason Carter saying Openda would be a good shout for West Ham. Yeah, take him at Arsenal as well.
Yeah. I just think what they need to do, they need to have a strong backbone. The spine of the team is the key thing. Absolutely. And that's the one thing where West Ham lack. I think the goalkeeper's a problem. I think if you're going to play at the back, you need a good goalkeeper. Under Potter, they had a good goalkeeper at Brighton. I think the midfield is a major thing. And obviously the 2 centre halves. It is going to be interesting to see how Potter copes in regards of the defence, because as we all know, we've only got 3 centre halves at the club. We've got 1 left back at the club and another one who's like an aging left back in Aaron Cresswell. So, I think let's just get by this January window. I think I'd love to know what you boys think the target is for this year, in i.e., like what they've said to him that this is what you've got to get in order of this season.
I think they've probably given him achievable targets, to be honest with you, James. You know what I mean? Like, because he's almost certain he's got a 2-year contract, and the club are basically saying that it's a 6-month contract with assurances to get the 2-year. You can never tell. I mean, like, as we all know, the club are devious. Well, the board are devious. But I think achievable targets would be the one, stuff like, I don't know, 6 points out of every 15 or something available. Achievable target.
Yeah. I just maybe it's league position. Obviously, if we go down,
I think it's more that. Yeah. I think it's more a league position, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, staying like 12th and upwards, I would probably
around that area. I agree on that. But I mean, they've got to be realistic and say, like, he's literally just coming through the door on that, and the first thing he's got is a cup game tomorrow. I don't think they're going to say, like, you've got to win that and crack on from that point onwards. I think it's a case of
they might have said to him, while we're in the competition, concentrate on it. Get as far as you can in the FA Cup. Give the fans a cup run that they can enjoy. And, that may be one of his achievable targets.
We're probably going to make a pig's near this name, because obviously Howard's saying reports.
I've got a funny feeling he's trying to trip you up, but go on.
We'll have a go at doing it anyway. We're for shits and giggles as well. For Reams, Malaysian under 23's left back starlet Chuk Dunong Loin Dok. There you go.
That is also pronounced as Mikel Arteta. No fucking clue. All the Arsenal fans are going to hunt me down, mate. Honestly, no, they're probably celebrating at the minute. But,
yes, load staff. Yes, Arsenal were in for 4, but let's be nice, they will win none of them. Shots fired. Back three of Amazaka, Kilman, and they're good. Fulham a 3-1 up.
Night for them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we're playing there on the Tuesday. Then we didn't play on the same night as Fulham for the Premier League. Obviously, and that's a day's rest. But they play on the Thursday, we play on the Friday, and we're back on the Tuesday. So it's just
interesting. Yeah. Colin's saying Fulkrug could go to Bournemouth, gents. It's interesting. A couple of clubs looking at him.
Yeah. Whereas I think we've been mad to get rid of him. Look at the record we've had so far with strikers. Strikers that have got potential. Yes, I know his age does have a large thing to consider, but with age comes experience. With experience comes ability, I suppose.
I think they need to get the striker right, whoever the replacement is, because
if they are going to replace him, yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah, because you can't go with who else is there? Danny Ings. It's looking bad, isn't it? But the thing is, there is going to be a major rebuild again in this summer, and this one's going to be quite exciting, I believe, more so because you're going to see a lot of players like Antonio won't be renewed his contract, even though he's like a machine at the minute coming back. Cresswell won't be having another year. Yeah. Ings will be gone, and then you'll be seeing players coming in, maybe even a couple of the youngsters, like Freddie Potts is coming back and actually being around the team. Do you know what I mean? So, if Fulkrug was to go this window, West Ham have got to get this right. They can't afford to get rid of him and then not bring someone in, and just sort of go around it in another way. I don't think they're that dumb. Do you know what I'm saying? But if someone said to me right now, you're going to go and get rid of Fulkrug, you're going to bring in Rashford, I'm bringing in Rashford and sticking him up front straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's guaranteed something, because obviously this is another one interesting. Damien Sano would not be letting any of these players out on loan. So Alvarez apparently is gaining
Monaco,
interest. Yeah, Monaco. Fulkrug squad is too thin. We need to not lose any, and that's the thing. I think we agree on this one. Daz, probably about 2 or 3 players, if that. But that's if Sullivan's gonna
back 3 of a 3 centre defence.
All depends.
I'd put
get rid of
in there before again.
Yeah.
It all depends who they get rid of. Also, this window, if Guido goes, Fulkrug goes, Alvarez goes, you've got to replace them 3, and you've still got to add another 3. I'm going to say West Ham bring in. I'm going to say 4 players, 2 loans, and 2 players. I think. Do you know what I mean? And so the 2 players that they bring in are going to be cheap cash deals. I think. I.e., for instance, if a player's got 6 months,
or championship players, perhaps.
I think more to the point of having 6 months left. If a man's got 6 months left on his contract, he's going to be cheap to buy now rather than let go for free. And will a club really let him go for free? So whoever's got 6 months left, like a Jonathan David, for instance, wouldn't be a bad shout. If West Ham go in with a bid and say, right, come on, we're going to give you X amount of pounds here, or he's going for free, just test the water. I think.
Got to. I think if you look at it, it shows the ambition and our ambition if we do that.
Completely agree.
But look at this one here. I mean, obviously we agree we need a goalkeeper. Ariel not good enough for me. I know not everyone would agree, but I raided Southampton in the summer for Ramsdale. I say raid. Now, when you look at that, obviously Fabianski in there, he's getting on. Now, looking at obviously what's happening with Lopetegui, basically virtually all his backroom staff have gone with him, bar the goalkeeper coach by all accounts.
He survives every time, mate, that geezer.
He does. He does.
There could be a nuclear war and a bomber drop down and he'll still survive.
He'll still be there in his little shed.
So if you look at that side of things, how about this then? We get a shot of him and get Fabianski as to be the goalkeeper coach and get another goalkeeper in.
It wouldn't surprise me if he comes on as a goalkeeper and coach. I'm not keen on Ramsdale. But the
Me
one
either.
person that I would have, I'd go up to Liverpool and get, is it Kelleher?
Kelleher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would see how much Liverpool want for him, and I'd pay the money and get him out of there. He's a young, up and coming goalkeeper, Irish international.
And alongside that, I would promote. Is it Christian Hagee?
I think so. Yeah.
Under 23 keeper. I'd promote him as well.
We're being linked with the Freiburg goalkeeper Noah. I can't even pronounce his second name, but I call him Noah for the sake of this. And I don't know about him. I think we need someone who knows the Prem. That's one thing I will say. With West Ham, we all know it over the last few years. We've had Roberto in goal. I have fucking no idea. I ain't going to say Ariola's a bad goalkeeper, but he's not the right goalkeeper for what we want to do at the end of the day, especially playing at the back.
Yeah, agree in that. Yeah, because not being funny, he did have a lot of promise when he came in, first of all, on loan.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, get a little bit too...
Yeah, but you've also got to remember that he was instrumental in us winning that
of course. Yeah, without a doubt.
Instrumental. He pulled off some of the best saves I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, that one where he's moving to the left and he puts his right hand out. I can't remember that. Anderlecht, I think that might have been. Can't remember who it was now. Yeah. No, before the Anderlecht game. But anyway, he was moving to the left and put his right hand out. I mean, look, he's made some incredible saves and he's had some really good games in West Ham shirt. But you're right, he's not McCloskey. He's not Shaka Hislop. He's not Rob Green to some degree. Do you know what I mean?
True.
I think we should be looking for a keeper, but I think also, as I said, we could be promoting that young Christian Hagee up as well, because he's been doing some great stuff for the last 2 or 3 years with the youth and on his loans.
Yeah.
You know, he's been really, really good. I think we should get him in.
JB's saying, didn't they change it as a 2 years, 6 months, as you wanted a longer deal rather than 6 months and 2 years if you do well? Sorry, go back to that one.
Change the 6 months rather than 6 months. True. Like, we said it earlier. I just think Potter put his foot there and said, "Don't like." And I
think that. I think so. I think that. I totally agree on that. I think that's what he's done, and that's why he put pen to paper. And I think he got what he wanted.
Yeah, and I do think, like, just to say this quick, I do think that's good that he's challenged Sullivan, because Sullivan would have went, "Oh, we'll tell you what, we'll take you on a 6-month trial." He's a fucking proven Premier League manager. He's managed one of the biggest clubs in London, in Chelsea, and then Sullivan wants to take him on a fucking trial. Do you know what I'm saying?
True.
So,
big up to Simon Wolfgang Division. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Big up, gents, and hope you're well. We are indeed, and Happy New Year to, I think what he said this year.
Good evening, Simon.
Happy New Year, matey, and smash a like he's saying. Lone-Star targets. West Ham have conceded 20 goals in the last 8 EPL games. Budgie gets it, but the other 2... question mark on us.
I think, Graham Potter's going to help in that department, though, in the defence and midfield. I think that's where he thrives. That's where his coaching style thrives. I mean, you look at Brighton, they didn't immediately have dynamic strikers or attackers. They had real solid defence and a football playing midfield. And
that's some good. They had some really good players, though, didn't they? Like when you look at the players that they had come through under Potter's sort of reign, like some of them have like gone on to be like, I don't know whether Calcedo was there when Potter was there, but he might have been. Yeah, and then you look at people like McAllister, another one who's there, Cucurella. Like some of these players, I might be wrong on some of them players because some of them might have been there when Zerbi come, but Potter built it to a point. But I think what it is, why people are sceptical to a point is because of the recruitment at Brighton, because the recruitment is so good, and under their owner Tony Bloom,
the system at Brighton is exceptional.
Yeah, and they're I can't think of what the geezer is. Paul Barber, his name is, I think he is.
Yeah.
He's like the main geezer up there who like runs the show for him. A bit like how Steiden is with us. He's the one who runs it there for them. For me, their structures are extremely good, and they buy cheap. They buy a numerous number of players, and then they sort of develop them over a period of time. It all really depends, as a West Ham fan, what you really want from next season. Because this season, we're just going to ride this one out.
Yeah,
I think next season is really what you want. If you want to bring the youth in, and you want to start integrating the youth in, then we can't be too expecting of trying to finish into Europe, like, because I just don't think you can do the both. I think you either go and spend big, bring some talent in, and then work to bring the youth in with that, or you bring the youth in now and then have a season sort of integrating them in, and then the following year try and go for Europe. I don't think you can do both in the same year, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
True. Good evening to Richo. Evening. Moore is back, please. Yeah, it looks like you're going to get him. He's
You're
on
welcome
his way.
to him, son. And good evening, you, Richard. Going back to the Brighton model as such, it doesn't just involve the club as in just Brighton. I mean, what I'm saying is that the away day experience at Brighton is really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. The train station is literally yards away from like the promenade, which takes you to the stadium. Okay, it's only a small railway station, but it's well serviced,
True.
But the away day experience is good there, and the atmosphere is always good. The fans are quite welcoming, I experienced it last season, and I really enjoyed it. And I think, quite a lot of away fans, regardless of who they support, when they go to Brighton, they generally have a decent day at it. And that's, testament to the whole system at Brighton. That's what I'm saying. They make the game day experience exciting for everybody, as best they can,
Yeah, we need to follow that model. It'd be fucking great for us if we do that, but we need the right ownership.
Do you feel we have the patience though to do that? Because I don't disagree with you. That's the right model to go down. Like, if we're going to go down that model, but then does that make us a bit of a selling club to a point? Like, every time we get a talent, we're going to have to sell
we've always been that though, James.
I was going to say that. Yeah, you got to think. Yeah, I mean, like, I know when I used to speak to Ronnie Gow. I mean, he said, like, the players he scouted and brought into the club, they sold up. They went on to be multi-million-pound pies, and that's what we used to do. We bring them in, develop them, sell them on.
And our development players, that have come through, the likes of Defoe and Carrick and Cole and Lampard, etc.
Yeah, but in one way, could we really? Well, with Declan Rice, it was an hard one for a lot of people because he was a world-class player with us. Whether like Arsenal fans are really going, like, he ain't world-class for us because they don't play him right. But with us, he was one of them players. He was one of the best players in the league as a DM. Like, that's what his position was.
In Europe, I'd say, but yeah, go on.
Is it a case of that we're just going to develop these players up for the big clubs to come and steal them? Like, if we're going to develop these players up for us, then that's a good thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But then if we're going to develop these players up to sell them on,
well,
it's like,
the thing is, I think the Brighton model is that if they've got players that they are confident that can replace a player, then that other player is available at a price, right? Because we've got someone that can replace him. If they haven't developed anybody enough to be confident, then that player does not get sold. I mean, like, you look at Mitoma, I think there's probably 75% of the clubs in the country would have him.
True. Yeah.
He don't get sold.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because they've got nobody else like him. And like, in fairness, they've developed him into the player that he is. He was already good when he arrived, but they've developed him, and he arrived at Brighton for somewhere in the region of about 13 million, I think it was, euros. I don't think you'd get him for much less than 35 now.
No, that's true. That's true. Look, Damien's putting in here Dewsbury Hall. What do you think about that one?
Good sign. I think.
Yeah, he would be a good signing. Decent player.
Joe Bellingham.
I don't know enough about him, but if his brother's anything to go by, why not?
Apparently, they reckon he's a bit better. Yeah, they reckon he's better.
I would definitely go up there and get him out of there. I think he's the sort of player. That's the exact midfielder we need. Someone with energy, someone who can sort of break the lines. We need someone in midfield who can pick the ball up and drive. And I don't think we've got that in our ranks. Alvarez doesn't do it. So it's not Souček's game. Souček is a box-to-box late runner, and scores goals. And yeah, I'll take both of them. One of them on loan and go and get the other one. The problem is you're going to know how serious West Ham really are. I
think that's the key thing, isn't it? For me, that's the key thing. I said it,
Ian, I will never sound like that little butt. Do you know what I mean? I might wear an hat, but don't wear the Russian one like he does.
Right. Phil Parks,
wounded.
Phil Parks, remember him? I mean, God blimey, when we brought him back to play for the club, that poor bastard was having at least 6 to 8 cortisone injections in each knees.
Was he at Manchester United? Was he? Was it Phil Park? No, not Phil Park. There's another geezer who was at Man United. I'm trying to think who he is. Phil Park's the goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's another geezer.
Because when they virtually kind of willed him out of retirement and that, and he was.
I know you mean the American guy, Roy Carroll.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Roy Carroll, yeah, God, remember that? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Either might West Ham United with a better back four keeper can wait.
For me, he was the most disastrous goalkeeper we had right up until Roberto.
Then Roberto went, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Okay, you out, done, son.
Yeah.
Of course, this one here, Evening James Lamprey as well, as an ex-keeper. The new Spurs young 21-year-old looks great, played well on the debut last night. Did well.
Yeah.
Stephen Bywater.
Like I said, we've got a couple of decent under-23 goalkeepers. If you're going to go for a young one, you promote one from within, surely. That's what the academy's for.
That's why, honestly, I don't understand why we brought Thornton to the club. That's one thing. That baffles me to this day. Right?
That's 2 players, isn't it?
Nathan Trott, we let go. Right, he had been on loan out in Denmark. Yeah. He was 24, 25, and we all know as a goalkeeper, you don't really sort of peak to in your 30s to a point. That's when you're really at your best. For me, I would have kept Trott here. I think Trott would have been a sort of player that you can sort of bring in for cup games and develop. One thing with West Ham, we are lazy in developing players. Like Deck is a bit of a unique phenomenon because, let's be honest, he's a world-class player. But other than that, the only ones that I can remember really coming through is Ben Johnson. I don't really remember anyone else coming through the ranks and really having a go. And I know Earthy's been here and other players, but you see him. And I remember a few years ago in Ngakia. Ngaki was the next big thing. He ends up going to Watford. We don't see him again. You know what I'm saying? So we need to start really. If we're going to develop our players, we need to start developing our players properly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, Lone Star saying Potter's a master's degree in emotional intelligence, and then obviously Howard follows up by he's an ordained priest of the Church of the Dude.
And there's a comment further down from Lone Star saying Roy Carroll's Northern Irish. He is.
Yeah,
he is.
He was the goalkeeper I was thinking of. I don't know about
he's not American.
Look, Jason Carter said we've had some fantastic strikers over the years. We definitely have.
Yeah.
Zaza, Benny McCarthy, Freddie Picquion.
Well, I think for me, the one I wish we really could have seen, and that was obviously Dean Ashton. I think he would have been immense. Yeah, thanks, Ashley Cole.
I actually really like Paolo Futre.
I remember Danny. Do you remember Danny?
Yeah, Danny.
I'll never forget a goal he scored at, and this is fucking hell, showing my age now, I was about 10. He come over from Sporting Lisbon, I think it was. If memory serves me right, he was from Sporting Lisbon. And he was like the pretty boy, isn't he? Like,
true.
It was all in like what's that string fellas in London?
Perfectly placed and everything, wasn't it?
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he scored a goal against Tottenham, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Old Danny, and yeah,
Brozier's gone down again on his hammy, and he looks in quite some pain here at the moment. So he just come on as a sub. They're giving him the old air, and he's on a stretcher, and he's off the pitch already. Poor old son. Des is asking, what do you think the score will be tomorrow?
I've done a preview earlier with Clive. There's a heart and head moment here. My heart is saying I think West Ham might go up there and do them. I think it's made. Right, Potter comes in, manager bounce, the fan base are all together, 6,000 behind the goal, really giving it some. It's made. My head is saying bank a draw. Literally bank a draw. Like both teams are going to be. Villa ain't going to be as strong. I think we're going to come there and we're going to be sort of playing on the counter to a point, but like defensively, pretty like try and be pretty solid. So I'm going to go with my heart. 2-1 West Ham for me. I think West Ham. I think it's 1-0 for a long time. I think West Ham might nick it towards the back end of the match.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. I'm going to go for a Desmond, and then a 3-1 win when we get them back down to the London Stadium.
But there's no replays.
Oh, and now?
No, FA Cup third round, son.
Oh, God, yeah. You know what? It's because I was listening to the results from yesterday's game, Carabao Cup, and they're over 2 legs, aren't they? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, it's got to be a win one way or the other, then, isn't it? Well, we're scraped at 2-1. Yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'm a 2-1 merchant as well. Unfortunately, yeah, we're all banking on
The
banker.
best bet going is 2-1. Both teams to score. That's the one.
And I mean, your daughter has a great birthday as well tomorrow, matey Howard. So she has a good one.
Yeah.
More hopeful for the rest of the season as well. Brilliant. Terence is saying, just consulted Toby, my gay bulldog, and he's livid. Someone said bring back Moyes, and yep, we are a selling club. No, lucky enough he's going to Evan, mate, so we've got no worries. And Low Star still coming out with it. Bowen is off to Arsenal in the summer.
Yeah, he's off there.
And look at that. Happy birthday to Mama Flossie's granddaughter as well. She's 10 tomorrow. But yeah, James, no, I don't think he's...
Bowen's off to Arsenal.
Yeah, he's doing a stadium tour. You know what I mean? He's looking around and thinking, what a gaff this is. Take me back to the London Stadium immediately.
I expect you get, Danny Dyer Senior to give him a lift up there as well, wouldn't he? Because he can't drive. He's got a broken foot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. So all saying thank you for the birthday comments. Yeah, gents, I certainly do not want to see this great club of mine becoming a feeder club. Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we've always been a club that's developed players and brought in players that other clubs have desired. We've always done it. Every club does it. But, like the moment Lucas Paqueta started showing what he was about, how many links to Man City were there? Hundreds of them. Kudus came in and we saw what he was capable of. How many links to Arsenal and Man City were there?
I can accept that. I can accept selling them.
Nightmare, yeah.
But you've got to have a constructive plan in order to do that, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like if you're going to go and sell Paqueta, you've got to make sure you've got someone who's up and coming and going to be the next big thing. The problem is with West Ham, from old to now, is West Ham never used to go out and spend mega money at Upton Park on players. Like it used to be like, I can't remember who the highest transfer was at Upton Park era before it shut. Like for us to sign, maybe Carroll, maybe. So if someone can tell me in the chat. Pyatt was cheap. It's 12.5 mil. Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
It's. I think it might be Carroll. Like maybe like someone of that ilk. So when you're at the London Stadium, that's where you got to draw the line. You got to go like Wallet. You know what I mean?
It was Felipe Anderson.
Oh, Felipe, yeah. But no, he wasn't at Upton Park though, was he?
Yes.
He wasn't at Upton. He went at Upton Park, man.
Oh no, you're right. He wasn't.
I think it's Carroll. If memory serves me right, I remember someone saying Andy
It's
Carroll.
about 15 million.
You're probably right, James. You usually are on stuff like that, mate.
About 15, I think.
Someone tell me in the chat, please. That's going to bug me. I'm sure it's Andy Carroll. I'm sure we signed him for about 18 mil. I think it was, or 15 mil, or something like
50.
that.
I think it's about 15.
Yeah, and we got him from Liverpool.
Yeah.
And like, it all depends on what you want, really. For me, I want West Ham to go out and buy good players, but I also want West Ham to bring in players and all, i.e., develop players. So I think it's got to be balanced.
But Jason Carson is asking, what happened to our young goalkeeper, Anang?
He's still around.
I think he's somewhere there. I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still around. I think he is actually the current first choice under 23 keeper. I think.
I mean, look at that.
He might have just gone out on loan, actually.
Phil Parks cost £565,000 at the time.
Yes.
Matt saying I love Danny. Also, Mark O'Boogers and Samasi Abu.
What a man, Abu.
JB is saying, does anyone know Bowen's dad almost joined us under Harry for 30k, but Brown would not do the deal? Now as captain and scored the winner in the final. Who would have thought that would have happened? Jesus.
Yeah. They've revealed that on a little interview thing, didn't they? When he did Ironcast, I think it was, with
Paolo Food Tray. Player.
Portuguese Maradona.
I say it'll be 1-3 winner Gil Herme. That'd be interesting, Colin.
Do you remember his goal, Fuche, against Wrexham in the FA Cup in the snow?
Yeah,
the orange football.
The orange football.
Yeah. Oh, that's going back to that's about 96, isn't it? 96, 97. Got to be around that time.
It'd be funny. I watched a replay reel of the game when we beat Liverpool 3-1 at Upton Park.
Yeah,
I think it was in our last season now.
There you go. Look, it was Carroll. Yeah, Andy Carroll, 15 million. Yeah, half price of what Liverpool paid for.
I thought it was Carroll. Yeah, because
I think was it Liverpool? Was it 35 million? I think in the end.
They bought him and Suarez, and then if I got it right, Big Sam was there, wasn't he, at the time? And he brought in Noland and Carroll.
Yeah,
as he got Nolan come in from the Championship, got us up, and then Carroll come a year or 18 months later. So
Stan Lazaridis,
what a man he was, mate. The Aussie.
He was great.
I'll tell you a player that I used to love watching, Andy Impey. I always like him. I thought he's a decent player.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've forgotten all about him. Now you say his name, all of a sudden, all vivid.
He was about Mark Keller. I'll never forget the goal he scored against Derby. It was a rocket, and it came off the crossbar, and I think we won 5-0, if I remember rightly. Because my memory's pretty good, because I always remember them sort of games where when players score, you always remember what the scoreline was. And he was a good player, old Keller, French geezer. He was. That was in the Toto days. That was 99.
Actually, I was chatting with Sebastian Schemmel last night, and he was telling me about him playing against West Ham for Metz in the Toto Cup final, the 99 final.
Wow.
He said to his teammates after the game, them West Ham fans are brilliant. I would love to play in front of them again.
Yeah. So it really sort of baffles me, it does, because he follows me on Instagram. I used to love the geese. And as a kid,
I've stood in the freezing cold watching him running up and down the pitch once. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then to be talking to him as an ex-player and stuff blew my mind a little bit last night. I got
honestly, mate. I remember him in not so much the season we got relegated. I think it was the 2001 season when I think he won Player of the Year.
Yeah, he won Hammer of the Year in his first full season with us.
Yeah, and he was brilliant. And then when you're doing the YouTube game, right, and you got all your links out everywhere, or Instagram or TikTok or something, and you got someone like Sebastian Schemmel Fucking follows you. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck me, James, you made it, son.
Well, yeah, I feel a bit like that as well, you know. And
Yeah.
I've got Mark Ward follows me as well, weirdly
That's what I'm
enough.
saying.
Nice.
And Jimmy Quinn.
I'm still waiting for Paolo Di Canio to get me inbox. That'd be the one. That'd be a straightforward. That'd be an easy video to do.
I said to Kieran last night after we'd finished the show, I said, wouldn't it be funny if, like, through Seb, we got like Paolo Di Canio or, you know, Dimitri Payet on the show one night, you know? And I said, because Russ would be blowing his gasket because, like, he can't even get them on. And he's, like, met them dozens of times, you know, at the stadium. But, that would be fun.
What it is, I do a lot of events at Dagenham Redbridge, and they do like in the hall and all that. And I remember one night I was down there on a Friday night. I didn't know nothing about it, and I was having a few beers. I know a few of the locals in there. One of my best mates lives up the road from there, so I go down and have a few beers in there. And next thing you know, I've seen like Dean Ashton walk out. I've seen Anton Ferdinand walk out. I'm thinking, oh like it's a bit surreal. They're in Dagenham Redbridge on a Friday night, but there's like an event in the next door. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a bit surreal.
Is that E13 events?
Yeah, what it is, there's two, isn't there? You got one that's the E13 events, and you got Saint Promotions. Is it Manville or something like that? It's promotions, and they just mix them up. They just mix them up, really. Like the geezer who does the E13 events goes over Dagenham. I've seen him over Dagenham a few times, and he goes over there. So I think he lives locally, but he's a West Ham fan like me, but he lives in the local area, and he does the E13 events. So you know what I mean. Good luck to him, though. He does some good stuff.
Yeah. Colin saying Palo Food Trade, Danny Hugo, Portofino. Yeah, bloody hell, man. Jamie saying, little story from what I met Dean Ashton. So he retired from us and ended up getting £1 million combo. You were in training with Kings Lynn FC Insurance Company. So do you play, you pay it back. He's got to sign for them and play one game every 2 weeks on the ankle. Jesus. Yeah, Seb was quality last night. Yeah, it was a good show. Did say that. And Paolo Futre, Paolo Di Canio to Pablo Fornals. True. So we've got some time to get it in, and this is for Budgie. He's going to be talking about this great man. But
yeah, go on.
But this is a little thing we're going to show you about the Green Street Elites. James, I don't know if you're aware of it. What we do, we're going to ask you actually to pick the next one. But we're going to talk about former West Ham players, and we're going to talk about this man.
Geoff Pike. Well, I got to be honest with you. I was never a massive fan of Geoff Pike, although as a West Ham player, I always loved him. You know, you do, don't you? You know, but the thing I remember about him most is his unending effort in a game, and you know, like that quote said, that he was part of the team that finished third in the league, highest ever league position, just 4 points off the lead. And Geoff Pike was quite important in all of those games because he was tough to get past. He was a really good, you know, defensive-minded player, loved to get forward to. And for me, I thought he was a modern day equivalent. I think would be Pablo Fornals. Similar sort of player. But I thought Geoff was a great player. Do you remember him, James?
Not really, mate. Not really. I'd be lying if I said I did. He's not one that I sort of remember. My sort of era growing up was like the 95, 96 era with likes of Michael Hughes. He's one of my favourite players. I used to love him. Northern Irish international. Ian Bishop, Steve Lomas, Cotty, Dowie, Lazaridis, all them boys sort of growing up. My first sort of game that I actually went and watched was Alvin Martin's testimonial at Upton Park. That was his testimonial against Chelsea, and obviously carried on from there. And then you sort of go into the sort of the Canio era. So but yeah, I remember I remember some of the old players, like obviously, but I think it's a different generation, really.
Yeah. What we try to do with this Green Street Elite section is we're trying to talk about players that are generally not spoken about too much, and we're just trying to remind people of some of the players that have been integral to West Ham that don't get the limelight because they're not necessarily a goal scorer or a classy goalkeeper or whatever the case may be.
There's a few players that like that over the years, like even like people like David Connolly. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and like sort of season. And then you had the likes of like. See, the thing is, I do look at the likes of Michael Hughes. He never really gets a mention. Ian Bishop gets a mention quite a lot. But Michael Hughes, I watched a clip of him the other day in that sort of cream away kit when we beat Nottingham Forest. I think like 2-0, and he scored a goal there. And I used to like Michael Hughes. I thought he was a good player. Do you know what I mean? But then I do remember like the 1997 season when we had Hartson and Kitson and like two strikers for 7 million. Fucking what would love to have that now.
Sure, mate. But do you remember when Bishop came in with Trevor Morley as well? I mean, Trevor Morley. I mean, like
I remember slight Trevor Morley, but not really as much. If that makes sense, because like it was I can't remember what it was, but obviously you had Cotty and Dowie up front in '96, didn't you?
Yeah. Because I remember with there was a situation they were brought in, and then there was an incident, and Trevor Morley was stabbed, and I think it was his missus. I think stabbed him, but then there was the rumor, obviously, that he was having a bit of a fling with another player, and that's why it all kicked off.
Only at West Ham, lads. Only at West Ham.
Colin saying Geoff, and a lot of people said what they think about Geoff Pike. Great player, met him a few times, and grafter, which is obviously what they used to be. Had a point with Bishop, good lad too. Yeah, see, Marlon Harewood. That's Dow. Sorry, there. Big up to Dow, Oregon Gooner. Marlon Harewood was a beast. Yeah, he was.
I was watching some highlights earlier, and the commentator described Marlon Harewood's footballing style as what was it? Muscular and unwavering.
Muscular and unwavering.
I remember a season when he was crap for us, and like he was like about 7 games without a goal, and he goes and scores hat-trick against Aston Villa at home.
That's
a 4-0 win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
everyone's thinking what of a dog shit player we bought here, kind of thing, and then
another player that don't really get a lot of mention as a striker, Zamora. Really, I thought he was.
Who's sorry?
Bobby Zamora.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was, especially in that season when we, that 2007 season, like the Great Escape, when he sort of was scoring goals. And I remember a goal he scored against Man United, I think it was.
But he didn't graft for a lot of his goals, though.
He's a West Ham fan, isn't he? Like, he's just,
Mark Reaper.
Yeah,
Mark Reaper, another great player. But,
even Billage to a point. You got to look at Billage
when he came in.
So give us the subject for next week then, James. Who should we...
Michael Hughes for me, mate.
Right, okay. Done.
Michael Hughes. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 3 options. Michael Hughes, Steve Lomas, or Ian Bishop. Probably Ian Bishop would be more known. But even Steve Lomas, he had a little loan. He was up at Manchester City, come down to us. Yeah. And he was a bit of a boy. But I do like Michael Hughes for me. Yeah, I think you don't really get a lot of mention at all with West Ham anymore.
Well, next week we'll give him a little big up.
Go with that one.
Yeah.
Go with that.
I can't remember. I think we sold him, if I remember right, to Wimbledon. If I've got that right, I remember he was at West Ham for a while. I remember, and that was when Wimbledon was at Selhurst Park. Yeah. So Michael Hughes for me, mate.
That's the one then, Budgie.
Yeah.
Des asking the question: was you a Dowie fan?
After that after that own goal at Stockport, I was like, never again, mate. Never again.
It is a great header. Great header.
Great header in the wrong goal. Yeah, love it.
You're right. We did sell him to Wimbledon. He actually played for us for the 94, 95, 95, 96 season. Two separate loan deals. And then signed for us in 96 to 97.
Yeah. He's a good player for us.
On to Wimbledon, then on to Birmingham, Palace, Coventry, and St Neots.
St Neots, bloody hell. Terence, just to let you know, it was actually Kieran that picked Geoff Pike, so it was a good shout from him.
Yeah.
I still, I thought this bloke was, for me, wore his art on his sleeve. Thomas Repka, an assassin. Yeah,
he was a man that come in, and a lot of people got angry with him because he kept getting sent off in games. Yeah, I think on his debut, he got sent off for Borough, if I remember rightly. Yeah, and he got sent off, and then his final game against Fulham at home when we beat Fulham, and the crowd, and you I'll never forget the camera work, but the camera was on him, basically behind him, and he's in front of the Bobby Moore stand, and everyone's just clapping in and loving him and everything.
Tears down his eyes.
Yeah, and it seemed like it had gone full circle from a man that no one had any trust in at the start to a man that they loved and adored. And I'm going to be honest, I love Repka. I love that sort of, love that bastard type player, and I think we all do as West Ham fans. I think we need to have one of them in our ranks all the time. Yeah,
I mean, it's something you relate to, isn't it? I mean, we did one on Julian Dix, and Repka was, you imagine them two on either side of that. I mean, as wingers, you think yourself, fuck me, I've got Dix on the right hand side, fuck it, I switch over to the left hand side, oh shit, no, I've got Repka, I'm going to end up in the chicken run or whatever. Yeah. Big up to Michael Chelsea, big up to Budgie and James. My deepest sympathy to you guys and all Hammers fans out there, because obviously, as you know, he's a great Potter fan. Efferton, he's another one. I mean, obviously, there was mention of Stuart Slater as well. Wishcott was more earlier, definitely. Yeah. Marlon's goal in the semi-final, though, great finish. Yeah, linked every summer.
Quick question for you, James. Do you know who we got Michael Hughes from?
I don't know, mate. I think it was Luton. I think. Or something.
No. He was at Man City from 88 till 92, and then he went to Strasbourg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, France.
And we had him on loan for 2 seasons, and then bought him for the third.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a player, Joe. When everyone knows that they've got a player in their head that they remember from their youth, and he's one of the ones that sort of I grew up with. And obviously, when you look at the eras at West Ham and that from that 90s, the end of the 90s, the noughties, and then up to the relegation in 2003, we started to turn a little bit in sort of the 2000 era when we had sort of Canute playing for us, who I'm going to be honest, I thought was a really great striker that we had. Do you know what I mean? And I thought he had everything about him. I'll never forget his debut. And he scored in his debut, and the whole fan base is singing, sign him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
We're easy, please. Score a goal on your debut and we'll sign you.
True.
You know
I mean, another one in midfield and that, and God rest his soul, and that Mark Vivian Foray. Yeah, he's a good player. But then when you look at the shit that we've signed, I know, like Titi Kamara, fucking Rigobert Song, and who was the other one? There was another geezer in there somewhere. I mean, like up to the recent day, Harvey Norvite and things like that. It was just, and I say we're 2 hours in, James. We ain't got that long to go for all the crap we signed.
We had some real gems that get spoken of rarely as well, though. Like the likes of Diafra Sacco.
Yeah,
underrated.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
scored some really important goals for us. You know,
Yeah.
in the seasons that we had him. So
Even Rio Coker to a point. I know we signed him from Wimbledon.
yeah, became club captain.
Well, yeah, obviously had a lot of issues towards the back end, but there's players like Hayden Mullins, another one who's never really gets a lot of mention. Like, and you know, it's just
And
there.
you know,
Do you know what I mean?
you talk to players like, well, you know, like when Russ interviews all the ex-players and stuff, and players that have played with Hayden Mullins, I think probably a good 65% of them have put him in their all-time 11.
Yeah,
you know, because he's so underrated and so good at his job.
Even another player as a midfielder, John Moncur. No one really mentions him anymore, and everyone knew a John Moncur tackle. I know that.
Cool. I mean, look,
most people know about him running down the streets of bloody Upton Park naked as well, but that's another story.
Very true.
Jamie says, what happened to Adam Noland? Scored in a draw at Upton Park versus Millwall. I was in the East End at the time. Didn't hear much after that, though.
I think
some players just come and go. Like I remember David Noble. He was another player who was at West Ham, and then just nothing happened to him. But when you look at the players, like Sam Baldock was a player, good player, little player, but nothing major. Nicky Maynard was another one. He's one player I've mentioned on E20 quite a lot, and I said
Nicky Maynard,
he was the one from Crewe, really raved about. It's going to be the next big thing. Come to West Ham, didn't do nothing, and then his career just filtered out. Do you know what I mean? So you just
another lad who used to live local to me, Scott Mean. He came in with a lot of promise and it fizzled out. But he was a really good player. You know, locally, people never wanted to play against him. You know.
Winston Reid, he was solid.
And even so much, I see a clip today on X. I think it was either today or yesterday. Right? We even signed Diego Tristan back in the day. Do you know what I mean? I know it was like past his prime and all that, but like some of the players that we've signed that people probably wouldn't even remember. Do you know what I mean? So you know, it's just one of them, isn't it?
I mean, Damien's said it a few times, but yeah, definitely. Zamora as a kid would have picked him much earlier. Coutinho was way too good for the lower leagues. Yeah, he was good for us, and I think he had passion as well, didn't he? When he scored,
he used to play for what's that famous Tone? You know this, the famous team in East London. I can't remember if I can name of it.
Was it Fisher Athletic?
You got Fisher Athletic, but then you got the other one, like they all played there. Like John Terry played for them.
I know.
It's a funny old name, right? But it's a famous, especially round here, like Barking and Dagenham and all that. It's a very well.
Dulwich and East Hamley.
No, it bugged me, but it was a famous team, like a youth team that they all played out of. Leddy King played out of here, I think it was, and you know, they all go through there. And Zamora was always going on to big things, but yet again, he had to start off at Bristol Rovers. Started off at Bristol Rovers, went to Brighton, then from Brighton to Spurs, and
Jimmy Quinn.
Shout out Jimmy Quinn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jimmy Quinn. I'm in contact with him as well. I've spoken to him once before.
Nice.
In fact, I met him at the pub, but when I was meeting up with Richard Cox and Jane, what's his blinking name? Jake.
Stewart.
Met up with them, and Jimmy Quinn was with us. And it was quite nice, actually.
Oh, nice. Ronnie Ticker Boyce. Look at that. Look at some names. Yeah, look, Mike West Ham United saying old Ray Stewart as well. Yeah, some great names.
Budgie Byrne.
I'll mention it. See, this is another one as well. I mean, Michael Small from Brighton. Mike Small.
Yeah.
Remember when he banged in the goal against Arsenal? Ian Pearce was a good player for us. Yeah. Nordveld.
I want to say he's the worst one. I want to say he's the worst one, Damien. I think Roberto is the fucking worst one we've ever seen.
I mean, like I say, I'll never forget when we signed David Kelly in that. I mean, that bloke couldn't hit a barn door for 3 yards out.
I remember when we sold Rio and we signed Titi Kamara, Rigobert Song, and there was someone else in the package. Liverpool must have been fucking larking her. I'm saying with all that. Tell you a player, Trevor St. Clair, another one. I know,
Yeah,
like,
look,
forget about him like in life, but on the pitch, very good, extremely good. And he went to Man City, and
yeah,
he only left because we got relegated. And like,
and scored one hell of a classy goal against Derby with that overhead kick.
he's got some bangers, mate. He did, yeah.
cool, didn't he?
But that,
Scored his debut, didn't he, against Spurs? Double.
yeah. And
You score double against Spurs, then
quality
we're going to love you.
cross for that Paolo Di Canio goal at Wimbledon.
Yeah, Fresh has just said that. Yeah, Fresh said that. Yeah, Lone Star. I don't think Southgate is going anywhere at the moment. It looks like it's moist.
Freshfield has got it. Sedrev, was it? Yeah. If you look down the chat,
yeah, I'm getting there.
He's the one who Freshfielder. He's the guy.
Wrexham Boys.
Yeah,
Repton Boys.
The club you're thinking of, Repton Boys.
You got the Repton Boys, but the Freshfield.
Senrab.
That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Senrab. Because I know.
It was a funny old name. I couldn't think the fucking name of it.
Because I know when you look at what's his name? Oh, it's got off my name. Sol Campbell.
Yeah.
Rob Carpenter, who's in the chat, his brother. He was mates with old Sol, and because he's a new M lad as well. Yeah.
Some of the talent they went through that team, and I'm not even sure what that team. That team's not part. It's like a youth. It's like one of the best youth.
It was the best
clubs, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what went through that club? Yeah, like they're all saying it. Yeah, like Senrab, Jermaine Defoe. Yeah, Jermaine Defoe. Yep.
Jermaine. That's the sort of striker West Ham need right now. If I'm being honest.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't worry, lads. We're going to end up with Zaza this winter.
Only Zaza, yeah. Or stop him for good.
The Chicken Man. The Chicken Man's coming to town.
Repton Boys Club there. That's the other one as well. Yeah. Mike Small, who was anything but small. Yeah. He just reminded me of what was the character of Lenny out of Mice and Men. He was like that basically, but he was a big old lump. One Senrab team had 5 England internationals in one age group. One Sunday League team producing 5 senior internationals. Absolutely great. I mean, the setup for Senrab was levels ahead of even some of the Div 2 clubs at the time.
Yeah,
it was quite amazing.
Where were they based?
They were. I think it was more. I don't know. Was it Custom House Way?
I think because a lot of them come from Barking and Dagenham. Like obviously Terry was from Thames View.
Yeah, it was around that kind of area, but I think it was on the outskirts between. I don't know if it was around Custom House.
Don't play their games on Wanted Flats then.
No. What it was, I think it was like basically if you look at the Barking Road from Barking all the way to sort of Canning Town, it was somewhere around there. Yeah, because obviously you had a lot of the young, as I say, John Terry come through there, J. Lloyd Samuel. Someone said there, R.I.P. to him. Yeah. He come through there and all. You know, there was a lot of good players going through that at that time. You know what I mean? And that's what someone just said there. Like to get five England internationals in a youth team is like
Ginger. Great shout from Jason Carter as well. Yeah, James Collin was a beast. But Senrab, I mean, because there was another one. Wasn't on the same levels as Senrab, but I mean, Bellamy.
I wonder who the 5 players would have been
then. Terry,
Defoe.
Keane. No, not Keane. King. Obviously, J. Lloyd.
Lone Star, Paul Konchesky, Senrab.
Boys,
that's it. Yeah, boxing in it, Repton. Yeah, Kieran Dyer. Yeah. Look, Forest Gate.
Oh, so you're looking at Manor Parkway then? Just over the other side.
Well, that would be Wanted Flat.
Yeah, going towards
Anthony Marshes. George Paris. Yeah, I like George Paris. We did a Green Street Elite on him as well, old man.
Last week.
Yeah, let's look at that. Popular. Wikipedia is saying popular around that kind of area.
I was there the other day. Still a great place. Great place for you.
Senrab is a Sunday League football club based at Wanstead Flats in Forest Gate.
Fair play. Listen to that man up there.
There you go. Only because my uncle used to be the caretaker for the Forest Gate side of Wanstead Flats, because there's 2 sides, isn't there? There's like the Forest Gate side.
You've got the Capel Road end,
Yeah, which is where my uncle used to live.
And then you win over the other side as if you're going towards Leighton.
Leighton, that's it. Leighton Road, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Leighton Road.
Well, the actual pitch is there, and because fun enough, when you looked at it, they had their own version of the Twin Towers, these 2 block of flats, you know. So they used to call it the Twin
Funnily
Towers.
enough, that's where Simon lives, isn't it? Around that way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Wolfbank. He lives over that way.
Yeah, Stratford between that kind of area, in the air. Big up Laguna Matata as well. Big up the real ones. And how we're saying the popular people's front of duty. Yeah, that old just that. Right, gents, we've had a great show tonight, and James, it's great having you on as well.
Yeah,
but if you'd like to,
tonight,
first
James.
of all, James, if you'd like to shout your channel out, and if you've got anything coming up,
come over and follow me on E20 Zone TV for up to date news and views. Yeah, I'm gonna do like a little promotion. Nah, you want to come over and follow me on E20, me and the boys. Got another one of the lads back on board now. He's back in action. He's had a little break away from YouTube, but he's come back. He's done a video with me tonight. Brilliant. Tomorrow, watch along after Fault straight after. We'll see if we can get a result. And yeah, come over, subscribe, be a part of the E20 crew.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate that. And just going to say goodbye to Lone Star. Got to men. Be thankful you got Potter, not Southgate. And thanks for your comments, Lone Star. Always appreciative. And there is James's link for his channel. So if you haven't already, go over and give him a little like, share, and subscribe as well, if you don't mind. Budgie, again, as always, my partner in crime for this show. Thanks for being on a great one with Geoff Pike. We now know we've got for next week's Green Street Elites. If you'd like to shake your channel out and obviously where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you. So you can find me at Green Street Elites. I'm not doing an awful lot of content on there at the moment, but I am kind of getting back to it. I'm starting to develop a few shows that I'm going to try and get going. But you can find me every Wednesday night on West Ham Network with the Old School Hammers with Kieran. Every Thursday night here with yourself. And sometimes I get a chance to get in on the Sunday night takeaway or on the Bowling Lounge Tuesday talk show with Geoff. So I'm busy.
Good, mate. Good. Before Jason goes there is a comment he's actually asked here. Off topic, fellas. Do you all agree with Postecoglou's comments on football changing too fast in England?
It's what he does, mate. It's what he does, mate. Joe, what? If they're in the mud, they're in the mud. That's what I'm going to say on that. They can have half of what we've had. You know what I mean?
And I think Postecoglou bit off more than he could chew going to Tottenham.
Yeah, definitely.
If he'd have gone to someone like Leicester or whatever, I think he would have been a lot more successful. He would have been more. He would have been happier in the job. Tottenham's a massive job for a manager.
Agree on that one as well. And people that are still in the chat, there is Budgie's channel. Please go make sure you go and give him a little subscribe as well. Get his numbers up.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, we'd be very appreciated. Freddie Lundberg.
We have increased our numbers since you've been doing this, so thank you. And thank you also to Mama Flossie, one of the best moderators on YouTube. You cannot get better.
Absolutely. She's the best one. She is the best. Cheers, gents. Much love. And same for you as Howard. Good up, Mama Flossie. They're saying there. Yeah, it was the ball. Yeah. The square, oblong, oval-shaped ball that cost you. Fucking hell. Great stream last night, Budgie saying as well.
Thank you.
And that's where you obviously the West Ham Network. That's where Budgie's on there with Old School Hammers, and obviously Geoff's channel as well. The Bowling Lounge. Absolutely, cheers, fellas.
That's what I'm talking about. Moderating. Look at that. That was fantastic work.
Yeah. And night as all. Bit late in the chat, but I'll have a rewatch, lads. Top panel. Aaron, thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, Mama Flossie is the realist.
I felt sorry for Aaron the other night. I jumped in and he was going mad at Arteta. You know what I mean? I must admit, I waited till about 10:30. I just floated around all the Arsenal channels that are worth watching. And listen, Lopetegui's available.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna fucking say.
You're welcome. I mean, know that all day long. Yeah, but other than that, we're out, Frank. And obviously tomorrow night we'll see if the Potter revolution is going to come in and change things around. It's a good start for all of us. Let's hope where we go from there. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. Obviously, I'll see you in the chat, bruv. It wasn't pretty, so.
Yeah, I know.
And to you as well, Jason.
People, new things are afoot.
Boss.
Dyche to Arsenal. Ooh, look at that one there. And we're out. So take care, everyone. We're not going to do an outro on this one. We're actually going to finish short and sweet for a change. But thanks for being with us and take care, all.
Come on, you irons.